You're listening to the Salty Sex Cast with Mariah and friends. Minimize the fear. Expand your awareness.
Hello, welcome to the Salty Sex Cast.
Hi.
Again, and I have a wonderful guest on Zoom joining me. It's Mariah here, and I have Karezza with me, who reached out, and again, just someone else who has that drive, has that passion that we're always looking for, and we love to hear from. So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mariah, for having me.
And so you have been on this path for yourself for some years. I hate to introduce it because it's your path. So do you want to give us a little bit of background of even what brought you here today?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've always been passionate about the body and understanding relationships and sexuality starting from my teenage years. I've always been a dancer, always into sports. So I was always really grounded and wanted to learn more about what the body did, as well as, in a sexual setting and an intimate setting. And then from that on, I actually experienced a very deep tantric or conscious experience in college, in a college dorm room that I created for myself. And that completely transformed my life and sexuality and relationships forever. And that initiated my path of conscious sexuality to today. So I'm really, it's really what makes me come alive. It's why I'm here on earth. I feel that it's my mission to help people, enjoy their bodies, get rid of shame, and really truly honor each other as beings, and not to expect things to happen, but really be in a flow and be in play and expand and evolve through, letting our guards down, being vulnerable, and just simply being in the moment.
That's so amazing. So all of that just spurred and created, you are the creator and the founder of Intimate Playground.
Yes.
Tell us what that is.
Yeah, so I created the Intimate Playground based off of my love of play. I mean, not just sexual play, but really just being able to go sit on a swing and interact as a child would, to be in that innocence, that explorative mind that sometimes when we get older we forget, to look at things spherically, or to look at different directions, different dimensions, or different ways of being. And how that when we go into play, especially in sex, it's so serious. It can be so this adult, venue where, everything has to be serious. And the Intimate Playground is not being serious. It's about letting yourself go. It's about playing, about getting into the body, about maybe things coming up that may not be the most positive, but they actually help you move and evolve and bring even more pleasure and play maybe the next time that you are intimate, or, down the line. And thus, creating a more evolved person and a more evolved world by tapping into play.
That is what a great way to look at it too. Just like you said, very serious. I have a goal in mind. Don't mess me up on this. I have an expectation. This is how it's supposed to be. That is never how I was. I am such a playful, like teasy. I like to just enjoy the moment. Just like when you were saying, you're on the swings to swing, to play, to have fun. You're not on the swings to be the best swinger, to get like, oh, that's a great thing. Like, you're not going to be like, as soon as I reach the height, I'm done. Some people may have that goal in mind when they hop on the swings, but most of the time it's really just to be in the moment, to experiment. How high can I go? Can I not pump my legs and just keep moving? It's really just to be there, I love just comparing. I'm going to keep bringing that in as our comparison right now.
Definitely.
I think we all can imagine being on a swing. And how long has it been since you've let yourself play without that expectation?
Yeah, and it's also about being playful, or being in play is being free. When you drop expectation, or being this certain things have to be a certain way, then we allow ourselves this freedom and release of boundaries as well, that we can envelop or infuse all of ourselves in the moment, and just forget everything for a moment, and maybe learn something new, or see something that maybe would have never, if we hadn't sat on the swing, that maybe it would have never come to us if we didn't tap into that playful vibe.
So I'm actually almost hearing, if we go in with an expectation, we're limiting our experience.
Yes.
How simple is that concept? How hard it is to practice when a lot of people find safety in expectations and find safety in knowing this is what I know I'm going to get from this experience, because what of the unknown? So you help coach people through these types of experiences. And
yes,
how does that usually go? I'm sure there's a lot of things that are just held on, that are like tooth
sure,
and nail.
So I first have a cuppa. People will sign up for me for a free cuppa with Karezza, just to get an intro of what I do, of what they're looking for, to see if we connect and we can work together. And then from then on, we discuss, what are the trials, the tribulations, what are some issues, or maybe, not only issues, but what are those, if you want to expand, what are some new ways that we can expand as a couple, or even as an individual, and self-pleasure, or, when dating, or for the future, because a lot of things that come up as well as this conditioning around, this pleasure, that everything, has to revolve around orgasm. And not just the layman, but also if you go into Tantra, this idea that if it, you want to expand, or you just want to have an orgasm, but you're missing out on everything else. You're so focused on this one aspect of the sexual realm that you forget everything else, the connection, the body, the nuances, the touches, the kisses, the biting, the nibbling, all of the senses, and which can explode your world into completely different dimensions of how you see the world, and different dimensions of you, different aspects of yourself. So that's what I do through play. And I create games based on, communication strategies, or bringing more pleasure through the senses. I have a beautiful sense game, and just allowing them to feel into that. And if something comes up, we can discuss and go from there. And usually, through that, they can expand their pleasure and their connection with themselves, as well as with their partner.
So you are helping create this experience. So you call it Ecoconscious play with sex and intimacy, and that's it. And it's a coaching service, is what it is. So that's the medium, that through the modality. And so games, and bring in all these other things.
I also, the eco part is very important as well. So I'm very ecosexual. So I'm very conscious of products, of what we use on our bodies in terms of lubricants or condoms and sex toys and all these things. So I always try to, I actually even created my own erotic Play-Doh made of cream of tartar and all-purpose flour, which I give to my clients if they would like to sample. That it's just another tactile, organic, sensual aspect of play, and how we can take gack, which was something we played when we were young, that is filled with chemicals that can cause skin irritation and whatnot, to creating something that's eco-friendly and that helps the environment, that we're not, causing toxic emissions in the air or in the waters, and actually being able to love the earth and love Mother Earth and create pleasure from that. So, yeah.
That is, I've never thought of that. I'm very aware that it exists, but how to incorporate that into actual business model, and saying, I'm not going to borrow from this cup over here, this environmental piece to fuel my sexual piece or my intimacy or my relationship piece. I'm actually, this is all part of it. It's all connected together. It's all important for you.
Yeah.
I'm now curious, how did you get to that piece of your journey? Is that something you're just already passionate about and wanted to make sure you partnered with, or was it something that just kind of connected and you followed that whole?
Well, I've always been conscious of creating, of what I do to the earth. And, not only, I do it in my day-to-day life, recycling or composting, and just, knowing that what we do affects the earth, and that the earth, that what we do to the earth affects us. So it comes around. And now when we take it to the sexual level, the sexual realm, it's almost even not just about earth as well, but when we think about using like natural latex or more eco-friendly organic lubricants, we're thinking beyond ourselves as well, not just with earth, but with our partner. Do we really want to use, maybe condoms that are laced with, I don't know, spermicides that may cause irritation in my partner's yoni or vagina? Like having that conversation as well, like, are there things that maybe irritate you in your past? Or, just being aware of, like, again, not just earth and how we recycle our sex products, but how that interacts with our partner. And how as a man or as a woman, we can level up. It's just another way of leveling up in this kind of conscious world of being eco-friendly and aware, and actually adding more awareness to the sexual realm, and not just bodily, but, products and
I love that you brought in, now it actually gives me the opportunity to not just think of my needs and what I'm wanting from this. But even just this one thing of choosing a specific kind of lube, I'm now thinking of what effects that has on something else, which is so much easier to think of what is the effect on my partners, what's the effect on how's this, and that chain reaction. So what a easy way, really, and kind of taking a lot of the energy out of having to really, like, let me think of everything, make sure I'm not forgetting anything, and start feeling guilty if I'm not thinking of it, but more of just how easy I can plug in this one little piece, and that kind of has a ripple effect on other pieces.
So cool.
Definitely. I love that approach. So that's a big piece for you, and all of that, and taking away expectations. Tell me a little bit more about that piece and play, and how just being there for the journey, and I'll let you continue.
So definitely, I actually did a piece today on cock worship. and what it means to really nurture the cock, the penis, the lingam. Because men, I feel that they've always had to be action oriented. That there's always, like if I don't do something, if something doesn't happen, then I'm a failure. Then why are we doing something? And if something does happen, then I can wear the Superman shirt and I'm the man, of the hour because I made my partner have an orgasm or multiple or whatnot. But it's really not about that. And sometimes we do want that, and that there's no shame in that. Sometimes the moment calls for it. But I think what men and maybe even women are missing is just to be in this place where you can just be honored, where you can, whether it's through touch or whether, even honoring before penetration, that a lot of people don't look at it like that. Like creating the sacredness with our genitals, sacredness with our bodies, and our connection to oneself and to each other, rather than just automatically going straight for the genitals or straight for the breasts or straight for the erogenous zones, that we can start slow and that we can honor the whole being from head to toe and everything in between. And just really embodying what comes up in those little nuances, places that you've never even been touched in, maybe because you've only been touched in certain areas, that you've never taken the time to explore what can be. And I believe that people are missing out so much on learning about themselves as an individual and what they like or maybe what they don't like, to understanding the other as well, and building that connection with each other where maybe they're in tune with each other at some point.
The potential to have just a more saturated, pleasurable experience is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Let's add more flavor. Let's add more of it instead of just, here's this one. I'm going to compare it to a meal because I think that's another way we can look at it, right? We are just, here's our protein and some of our other macronutrients, right? And you're saying, here, try this seasoning, try this other flavor with the protein, with this other, and it's just adding to the meal. And now it's just a more pleasurable experience instead of, I just have to fuel my body because that's what it needs. You're still saying, yes, there is that need, but why not add more? And you do it through this way.
Definitely. And I mean, even for myself, I'll bring in just an experience of my own. I mean, I myself, I think people think that I don't know, that I say all these things, but I have not experienced a lot of this. But it's something that I have experienced, that going towards something, that feeling of like going towards a goal, where actually I can feel that vibe, I can feel that energy off of the person who's trying to make something happen, rather than be with me and connect with me and expand the time and the bliss of the touching and all those sensual sensates that are available. Not only does it, when we are able to go into those sensates and senses, does it expand our physical realm, but it takes it out into the world at large, and maybe how we see things and how we're narrow-minded, maybe by getting into the body, expanding the body, the whole vessel of it, that we can actually shift our perspective or how and think about our partner and their perspectives on life or in relationship or with other people and families and friends and work and the whole 9 yards of living and the world at large, how we can take this simplicity of being touched and spreading that out throughout the entire body into the world as well.
I like to just sit there and let that sink in too, because that was a lot to listen and to really be like, you have that potential.
Yeah.
As you're working with your clients, and as a coach, kind of helping create these experiences, what are some of the blockers that you typically see, or hurdles, even challenges to get to this place where it is more of an experience and not a goal?
Yeah. I'm currently working with more men than women at the moment. So I feel for them, there's a lot of blocks in terms of the conditions they've been put on through either ancestral the patternings of their family, of their ancestors, and the shame around this idea that it's all or nothing, pretty much, and that everything has to be one way or the highway, and that they're only seen as a man if they can provide for their partner or for themselves, and if they can't do something, then it's a negative thing. But really, it's honoring, like, when you go into that, you have to honor what is as well, that even though it may be a problem, that we can actually, if something isn't going wrong, you can still appreciate and be loved for that it's not a shame, that you can overcome it, and that you can be appreciated, accepted, and loved, even if something doesn't happen in the way that it is. And I think, there is so much expectation for men, that if they don't get it right, and they're always in the mind, and to be able to step out of that, and to really embody the feeling, and maybe get into the feminine of that surrender and feeling rather than doing, it opens up a whole new world. But I think it's truly, and maybe in their past they've had triggers where women, laugh at them as well, because they didn't come, or because something happened, that could affect them as well. But you have to see it in all. You have to love and appreciate all aspects, because it's not perfect every time. And that goes back to really being in the moment, rather than trying to expect something. And if something doesn't happen, then it can still be a beautiful experience.
You can still enjoy that journey.
Yeah.
Even though the destination doesn't look like what you were expecting.
Yes.
Landed in a different place. Not a wrong place, not a bad place, just different. Exactly. So I'm sure it's a lot of even challenging their own beliefs and expectations.
Yes.
Through what I'm hearing is more of play, kind of just letting yourself experience that, not lecturing on a podcast like I like to do, but actually getting to experience that, the feel, the walking away with that. So you play a lot of games. What are some other examples of the services or things that you're able to offer your clients?
Yeah, so I do offer my favorite. I do this sensory game, and it's just a mind-blowing. And all my clients really enjoy. I should make a workshop out of it, but it's really about stepping in to your senses. And what happens is that if you're a single, you can do it as well. That you blindfold yourself, and you have a tray of all certain things for taste, touch, see, feel, hear, and you create a little menagerie of things, of goodies. And if it was a couple, your partner would create this like a world of surprise for you, and that you would be the receiver and one would be the giver. And it's just the most beautiful experience that one can really be infused with, because there's this element of surprise, of being in the unknown when your eyes are blocked, and to be fed, or to be almost like a queen or a king, like being given all these beautiful things. And not only that, things can come up as well, and that you can actually sit and take time to go through that experience if you're upset, and then get back into the moment. And it really allows you to live more orgasmically as well.
Mm-hmm.
That we can take this pleasure of the unknown as well, and heightened senses to outside of ourselves, into nature, into the beingness of the universe, of the world at large, and thus creating a more pleasurable existence for everyone, not just in the body.
How fun.
Yeah.
So going through all the senses and really just allowing that to be an avenue into a lot of connection of other things outside of you.
Yeah.
And everything has a lot of potential. It's really strong, really saturated in
Yeah.
the power that's there. Which I'm sure some folks are listening and they're like, it's kooky, it's out there. And it's different again. And I'm going to go to that so much. It's different. It's not wrong. It's not right.
No.
It's not the only way to connect with these things. If you don't feel like you need to, that's definitely not what the message is either, but really just allowing something to create more awareness, more conscious connection is what I'm hearing. Whatever
beautiful.
that looks like.
Yes.
How fun for you to get to do that. Like, that's a dream job for probably so many people, and just to get to do that for others. And for yourself, your journey to this place, you touched a little bit about it, your college experience and things. Would you be comfortable kind of giving us a little background on your own growth and your own journey?
Sure. Well, actually, I mean, I'm coming out of, I've had the biggest shift and the biggest growth within the last 3 to 4 years. I was a few years ago, I was living in Germany and married my partner at the time, and recently getting divorced. So, and through that, I have really grown to understand how, sex is so integral, an integral part of life, whether it's playful or not. Just this idea of sexuality and being upfront with it and centered in it, that it is part of life and life is part of sex, that we come from sex, and to not be, in it affects, your relationship, and how that can be destructive in growth. I firmly believe that, to grow and to change the world is to grow in sex and in life, because they're both the same. They're both, they're one, both, and the same. And whatever way you look at it, from whatever aspect you look at it, it's always there. And it's so important to understand, your needs and your wants, and how even yourself can change from your 20s to your 30s to your 40s, and your boundaries and your pleasure field can change from day to day, from moment to moment, and that's okay. because our bodies are constantly flowing and growing and changing. And yeah, it's one of the ways that we evolve to be better humans and to rid ourselves of shame and this patriarchal society of the past, and how we can really create a new world for the future of others and new generations.
So your path kind of sounded like it really took off a few years ago and really had either a shift or just a ripple effect for yourself through a divorce. And I hate to start assuming anything, but you started telling us a little bit about that and how that kind of created an opportunity for you.
Yeah.
To really explore that for yourself.
Definitely.
So you were saying you don't know it all. You don't have all the answers.
No.
But you being playful, you not having that expectation for yourself has been able to create this opportunity that's also had a ripple effect onto others, because now you have a service that you offer. How do you stay playful?
I mean, I feel that I'm playful all the time. Even if I'm upset and angry, I can tap in to my playful side and maybe even become more animalistic playful if I do harbor some anger, or because you're human, it doesn't mean you're happy all the time. And to be able to play with those emotions as well, and how to move that and shift that vibe or shift those feelings to a more positive, more maybe passionate emotion. I believe I embody play myself. I've always been a child at heart. I love to play. I love to do puzzles and games in my own life. I just stepping into a playground is an oasis, and being in nature is a wonderful playground as well. And how fun, and being able to go into nature, go into the beach and pick up these beautiful pieces of nature and use them as toys for your own pleasure as well. That, thinking outside the box and having this creative edge, that we can use not only technology of sex, but also the nature, the eco-friendliness and play of nature to embody play for ourselves.
It's super fun. You're saying you like to come up with games for your clients.
Yep.
And I immediately went to, yes, I love competition.
Yeah.
Like, I love the challenge of it. Like, just pushing the limit. Can I do it better? Can I go harder? And so that's anytime I think of a game, and I always immediately go to competition. I think that's a little piece of me that is just me. And is there room for that and what you offer? Not that I'm just curious now, because I'm like, oh, that's so funny that I went there for myself. Yes, I still very much enjoy being in the moment and kind of and that is my challenge, is to be in the moment. Like, I kind of view it as that, is to shut out all the distractions. But immediately I was like, oh, how can I put this into a competition for myself or something to have that fun component for me?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've created games with a bit of like trivia or sex Jenga and sex what's it? Oh God, I forget it now. But yeah, where you kind of get to wager on, you know, how many answers you can get right. And if someone gets more, then they win. They get to have something done, or they get to choose a pleasure or something they'd like to have. I think it breaks, you know, boundaries. I think it's a turn on for a lot of people to have a little competition. It's sexy, and yeah, there's a bite in that. There's a vivaciousness in that, you know, just doing a simple game of going around the dot to dot and doing little things and picking up a card or whatnot, that doesn't really, it's just mundane. And, you know, making a wager or having a little, you know, trivia contest, exploring, you know, those aspects of ourselves that maybe we never thought that we were, how fun it could be, can actually change your life as well.
I'm totally on board. I'm sitting here like, hey, what game can I play with my partner tonight? Because I feel like we need to like have this, you know, like trivia, and just like you said, the wager of who, if you get it right, you know, you're the one who gets to pick the prize, kind of thing. Like that to me is so much fun.
Yeah.
What a great way to also spice things up, and maybe a long-term relationship that isn't as scary, isn't as taboo as other things that people immediately go to when they think of like spicing up sex in a marriage. Be playful again. How fun is it to, you know, be playful?
Definitely.
Forget that in adulthood. I don't know, the seriousness. It really does kind of come in like a plague and shut down a lot of things.
You know, I mean, it's also interesting though, you know, some people think that if you're too playful, then you're taking the meaningfulness out of it as well. That some people may be very conscious, you know, into tantra or sacred sexuality even, that they may look at it, but that's not meaningful. Like you're laughing, or it's too simplistic, or, you know, it's not deep enough, but in essence, it is like the simplicity is the depth, I think, and that we're not laughing at each other, that it's just another way of looking at sexuality. And it doesn't mean that we're just joking or making someone feel unworthy or laughed at or poked at or thinking that there's something wrong with them. It's just another way of communicating with our partners and getting into another aspect of ourselves.
Taking away the complexity. And the guesswork, the fear of the unknown. It's kind of just be there, be present, and have fun. Simple, right? How often can we like just get out of our own head? And what a fun practice. I'm already just racking my brain right now, like, yes, what I need to make this a habit now, or I will really want to incorporate this, is what I should say better. And kind of brings it in. That's so fun. Is there anything else that of your practice that we haven't really covered or haven't explored yet that you'd like to explain to our listeners?
I'm just thinking. I mean, just, you know, I'm just saying, I just want to reiterate, you know, play is not, it's just one aspect. It's not, you know, the way that you look at play, it's not the end all be all way to have sex. And it's just one aspect of totality that you, just another avenue to go down. And some people it may not even be their cup of tea to even go into. But I mean, it just gives, it just goes, I mean, I think what I also bring as well, that it's not just about sex in the body, but also bringing, pleasure outside into everyday life. How we can shift, how can we shift those, this crazy time of living in the unknown and not knowing where life is going to take us, to a beautiful place of opportunity and positivity in life, and to always kind of find that place, that little, place in ourselves that ignites us and, can rise above all the negativity that arises in us, or the fears of not knowing what is to come next.
Yeah. It really does shut it out, just like you're saying, the negativity, there's really not a lot of room there when you are enjoying the moment, when you are having fun.
Yeah.
Even when in like moments of pleasure, there's still some things like going on in my brain, like, oh, I worry about this, I worry about that, but I'm really having fun when I'm really just guard down, I'm laughing and just enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
It's not there. So it's really just another way to connect, shut out all of that noise and be present, conscious.
Yeah.
So that will always probably keep coming up, that word, and how important that is. But shutting out the negativity, and even hearing someone say that, I need to shut out the negativity, I need to like turn off all the worry, I need to, to enjoy it. And then what does that do? I'm more worried, I'm even more, stressed or anxious. But if it's more like, here's this one piece that is play, enjoyment, that other stuff kind of melts away, and it just, there's no room for it there. It sounds like it's just an easier thing than that expectation. Well, I'll keep going back to that.
And
I mean, expectation that this has to be
definitely. I also think, something that I've just experienced myself is that it might be a bit deep, but when we can be without expectation and truly be in the moment, whether sexually or not, we have an opportunity to be in the infinite, that we have an opportunity to be in this universality of just, being able to flow and being able to exist in what life is, and be okay from moment to moment, even if things arise. And that, I mean, sometimes that, you're in this place where there's no pleasure or no orgasm, but it feels like it can go on forever. Sometimes.
It really does happen. And this is a very real life example. I think for myself, if my partner is orally pleasuring me, and then I'm worried about how long it's been for him to be down there. And I'm like, oh no, if I don't come soon, he's going to think I'm not enjoying it. So then I'm trying to will an orgasm, and it's not going to just happen. So it takes even longer. And then the anxiety keeps coming. And then it's just a cyclical thing for me. But just to enjoy that moment and play and really kind of shut off that expectation. It's been something, it's very simple, and or at least for me, it's something I know that comes up almost every single time we have that activity. So for me to just kind of be like, I am here in this moment, whether or not this happens. And that has, for me to kind of repeat that to myself and just kind of let it go. It has been more pleasurable. I typically climax a lot faster, and it's better because I'm enjoying it instead of like, hurry, get it done. Or he's not going to think you're into it and you don't enjoy it.
Definitely.
So it's really fun not fun. it's really loud to see that example for myself. It's really apparent. And now I'm just trying to think of how can I get play in there with it, and how fun would it be just to have different challenges and activities, and just make it not an expected or an expectation of this is how you do it because that's how it got me to come last time. It's more of just let's experiment, let's enjoy the moment, let's do all that. And very one little example, very personal obviously, but I'm sure some people can very much relate to it. But it really is coming up. That's what's coming up for me for sure.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I just think, at the end of the day, what I've, even being a sex and intimacy coach, I think the one thing that I've learned that I love, and I don't know if maybe people have experienced it, is that really what it's about. It's not how many orgasms you have. It's not how much pleasure, there is, but it's really about coming home to yourself, coming home to your partner, seeing your partner as solace, as a relaxed person, as a place to come home to, and just be in the moment and connect in whatever form that may look like. Every night, or every evening. That's always been such a beautiful release, like to calm down and just forget about everything else, and to see, your partner as just that your home, your place that you come to, that just creates this realm of safety and the softness.
What I love is watching you try to find the word, because the feeling. And I know I can see it on your face that you're like, I know what this is. And I know I've experienced this, or I at least have seen others experience it. And it's hard to find those words to explain it sometimes, because the experience is so powerful or unique. That is more cool, I think, than anything else, just kind of watching that and seeing that it's hard to explain. And it doesn't need to be explained. It needs to be experienced. So
yes, definitely.
We'll try to do our best here on our podcast, but that's so wonderful. So Karezza, how can our listeners contact you? Go ahead and give them all your details and what they can expect from service. Just like you said, there's a meeting, there's kind of a conversation.
Yep.
What else would you like to share about that?
So I said, if you're interested in just a taster session, an intro session, you can book a cuppa with Karezza, which is found on theintimateplayground.com for more information. I'm also on Facebook at Karezza Navi and the Intimate Playground, as well as Instagram. I also do talks in Clubhouse on conscious sexuality at Karezza Dorella. You can find me there as well. I co-host another show called Fun Frolicking Friday that goes deep into conscious sexuality and relating in life and in sexuality with my host, Candice. So there's always a lot of things going on, and I try to create fun. I do a hump day trivia contest where people come every Wednesday on Instagram and Facebook to check out the trivia, answer, and you get into, at the end of the month, I do a drawing to win my erotic Play-Doh all organic and eco-friendly. So I try to make things fun and floaty and vivacious. So yeah.
That's so fun. So fun, flirty, and vivacious. You know where to get to contact you. I love it. I will get all of those websites and everything and links,
Okay.
and I'll put them in the show notes. So if anyone's listening, they should be in your show notes by then. Right now it's live for me, so it's not there yet, but I'll get it there for you. And thank you so much. Is anything else coming up for you that you feel that needs to be shared? I don't want to take that opportunity away from you. Anything's coming up.
I'm really just thankful and appreciative of being here to share my life and to share and hopefully give just another aspect of sexuality and living more eco-friendly and just being more aware of yourself and the other in the realm of relationships and sexuality, and from wherever you come from, all walks of life, and just to add a little bit more fun and and laughter into the world at large. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your message and the service that you provide others out there. How wonderful that is to have that. And we can experience all of these intimate levels and experiences. And we get to do that as human beings, and how wonderful. So thank you again for coming on. If you have questions, anyone who's listening, feel free to email us at saltysexcast@gmail.com. I can forward them along as well. Please follow us on Facebook. We have an Instagram now. It's still needing some love, I'm sure. Feel free to rate this podcast and give us a review on Apple Podcasts. We love to hear from our listeners what's important, what really stood out to you. This is just as much important to me and my mission in life as it is when I get to hear from you and what you're needing. And if you'd like to get exclusive content and be part of our Patreon community, you can find us at patreon.com/salty sexcast, not the salty sexcast, excuse me. And we'd love to have you join that community. So thank you again, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll see you next time, and have a wonderful week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Salty Sexcast. Ready for round 2? Find us on Facebook.